Hail lore masters, today we're talking about the much anticipated game that's coming out next year, Blood of the Dawnwalker, created by Rebel Wolves, the creators of The Witcher and The Witcher 3 game, and like the actual big creators. They moved away and create their own studio, and this is their first project that's coming out. And when I first saw this, right, when the first trailer dropped for it, I was immediately intrigued by it, right? And obviously, I came in, not with high expectations. I came in more as a reviewer more than, like somebody that might become a fan, right? I was trying to be subjective, right? But it immediately got my attention and got me excited for the game, because in this world, right, within the story, it is a vampire themed situation. It's a vampire themed story, but it also has other fantasy creatures in it. We'll see that later down the line. And these people are trying to pretty much kill off this disease, which is the vampire, right? Which is this, they're trying to get rid of it. And it's like, at its core, they're doing something good, right? But I feel like this game, the story is going to show that monsters comes in many different sizes and many different shapes, kind of like the message that The Witcher sent, that monsters aren't always the creatures with the big teeth, but also could be just a blatantly human. And as these vampires come in, when the trailer dropped, you can tell like the timeline or where these people came from, just based off of what they wore, right? And it's this group of vampires, and there's some that are OGs, and then there's some that are newer, and they all have their own abilities, right? And they're some of probably the most powerful vampires we've seen just in fiction alone, right? And definitely some of the more skilled vampires we've seen, and some of the more calculated as well. And again, even though this was like just the first trailer, they did an amazing job on the graphics, the art, and the character designs. And with the main character Cohen, they're doing something different. They're moving in a different direction, like from what Geralt would be, right? Cohen is inexperienced, and he's just trying to protect his sister. And now he has fell into this supernatural world, right? Because now his younger sister is a vampire, right? And we haven't got much information on her. It's mostly Cohen, but I think it's very obvious that his younger sister is going to be a vampire as well, and he's going to have to try to protect her as much as he possibly can. And Cohen himself is, they call him a Dawnwalker, but he can switch between day and night, and that is something awesome. And I'm not sure if any other vampires in this war are going to have that same ability. And unfortunately for the humans in this world, right, they have to now deal with these vampires not coming to try to kill them all, but they're specifically coming to conquer, right? And they're using these humans as cattle. And Cohen, his character, as time goes on, he himself becomes a vampire, but he doesn't lose his mind and simply become a follower, right? And he's going to try to fight off those that turn him to a vampire, the vampire side, but he's also going to have to worry about the humans trying to kill him as well. And so between the day and night, the character and his abilities change, and there's a lot of decision making in this game. And I love that there's a lot of lore that has already come out about the world building, the characters themselves, the characters around them, and how in this world, how people have evolved, and what has already taken place and what is to come in the future. And with the main character Cohen, he's gonna have to deal with both sides, right? he's going to have to look over his shoulder because of who he is now. And the difference between this character and other main characters in supernatural and fiction, stuff like that, is that he's going to have to learn as he goes along, right? So kind of like with us, the people that play this game, right, and the people like me that follow the story, we are going to have that ability to go along with Cohen in this journey. And with the other characters in this world, they just look cool, right? And they have their own style and design, and they have their own motivations, right? And we'll get to see these characters grow, and we'll get to see which direction these characters go in as the story goes along. Because these characters was turned to vampires at different times, right? And I would think that they always turned at a very low point in their life, right? Like something tragic happened that made them turn to a vampire, and that made them believe that this was the route, this was the road to go down. And that's the difference between them and our main character Cohen, because he doesn't lose himself within this war, within the mindset, right? But he doesn't lose his humanity, right? And again, I want to see more about his sister. I want to see more of how much does she play a part in this story as well. Is she going to turn against him, right? Is he going to simply protect her, and she's going to be playing the background? I would like to see what role she plays into this overall story, because she was already a vampire before he was a vampire. And another thing that I like about this world is that vampires aren't the only creatures in this world. There are a few fantasy creatures also in this world. So I am curious to see if the vampires are on top of the food chain, or are they going to be battling for dominance and territory within this world as well. And how much does the humans play a part? Because I would assume that the humans would adapt as time goes on. And we get to see gameplay that they showed a while ago, also when they did a Q&A, that they show some of the gameplay and some of the interactions and some of the situations that you will be in this game. And I honestly believe that this game has Witcher 3 level of potential, right? It has that level of engagement with people, if the game is that good, right? Because obviously it hasn't come out yet, but everything that has already been shown, and everything that's already been told about the characters, I'm really excited for this game. And I got to ask some of the people behind this game when they showed the gameplay, and unfortunately they don't have plans on creating like novels and stuff in the future. They're really focused on the games, but hopefully in the future they turn this into a novel or a graphic novel, because that is something I feel like will definitely push this IP and push grow this world, right? Really get people invested into it and be able to collect and all sorts of things about this world. And I hope that this game becomes as big as I think it can get. And just again, from the art, from everything that's seen from this game and the lore, I am very much excited. And that's all I have for this video. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.